You're running. That's kind of cool. Alright, so in today's video, I want to show that not every mod has to be a functional mod. Sometimes we can get away with some fashion and I guess some not necessarily mods that will bring any functionality up to your bike, but stuff that will make it your own. So just walk with me and I'm just going to show you exactly what I'm going to be working on today. So what I'm going to be doing is, I always love the look of having bikes with a see-through counter sprocket. So if you look at my videos in the past, I think back in 2015, 17, something like that, I actually worked on my Yamaha Bolt and I made it just so I had a clear one. It ended up being not what I wanted, but it was just a matter of being able to see the whole mechanism and the pulley or the counter sprocket just like moving inside of there. I love it. And in my dirt bikes, I always have it like that, just exposed and or sometimes just running maybe a piece of metal which looks, you know, good, or kind of like a bracket just from one bolt to the other one, in just so I can have some sort of protection in case something were to happen, maybe like the sprocket coming loose or whatever. So so I can have some sort of protection, but at the same time I can also see it. In this case, it's not as easy as just removing this and just exposing the counter sprocket, because there's actually some assembly in here. So you can tell that the cable that operates the clutch is actually using this front sprocket cover as leverage. And so this is gonna have to stay, but I already looked at in the back a couple of years ago, because I thought about this a while ago, and I know I can potentially just get away with like making a cutout in here, just so I can see through it. And this is gonna serve two purposes. One is this is something that I want to do because I love how it looks. And second, I can do inspections, and I guess third, I can also clean it up easier than just having to remove the entire cover every time you want to take a look at it or inspect your counter sprocket and see what condition it's in. So I'm just gonna be taking a look at that. I'm just gonna be removing all of it right now. This is gonna be a great time for us for me to clean it up, which I'm guessing is gonna be super dirty because I haven't cleaned it up in a while. So I'm expecting, you know, the whole of like mess of like grease and like chain loop and everything is gonna be in here. So I'm just gonna be taking care of that, but let's just get to it. So I was just checking for making sure that I loosen up the correct bolts, so that's good. So there's still a little bit of like tension coming from this cable, and then of course you have to remove the bolt on the shifter, the ones that comes in here. So as you can probably tell, I have a couple lines already marked this in here, because I had my normal shifting, and then I changed it to like reverse shifting, so I now have a couple new marks in here. So I'm just gonna make a new one which is like very apparent, just so I know exactly where this is gonna go back, and I don't have to mess with, you know, making sure that I have the shift in the appropriate place. All right, so this is not a Sharpie, but this will, you know, serve the purpose for now. I just wanna, and I know I'm just gonna do this, you know, fairly quickly, so I'm just gonna put the line in here. And I'm just gonna extend the line all the way. So now I know that I need these three lines, 1, 2, and 3, to align when I'm putting this back together. Okay, so that way I don't have to do any messing up with any alignment, and making sure that I have the proper alignment whenever I'm going back. Okay, so just okay. So I'm removing this now. Okay, it just came off. Sometimes I like to put it back just so I know I'm keeping all the washers in place and I don't have to worry about them, you know, dangling or whatever. Okay, so now should be in a better place, but still heavy because I still have this. So this will, I have to undo this one. And this is actually another one. There's already a dot that I'm gonna show in here. But I'm still gonna mark it. Well, I guess there's a line and a dot, so I don't really have to do a lot. I forgot about that. So I can just go ahead and... Okay. Sometimes this, like the threads, get stuck with the splines on this, so it might not come up as easy as you think. So which is why I on the shifter I actually took it out completely. Okay. Of course, now I have the spring in here, which I never remember how it goes, but we'll figure it out. It's not that bad. And I don't have to take this one out, but I will anyway. So now I don't have this anymore. And now I can make sure that I have all of them loose. I think I forgot about a bolt, because I remember last time when I did this, there was one hiding from me. Now it seems like it's still the cable. So let's just... All right, cool. Came out. Now you have this in here, and I can just move the cable to the side. And now I can just undo this. Okay, so this time we'll have to pull the cable, and I'm gonna need to remove this whole assembly, because this is actually threaded in here, so I just have to remove it. So if you have never changed the cable on this bike, it's not as easy as other bikes that you just route it super quick and stuff, because it's just harder for sure. I don't remember, this is a 10, so it's definitely not a 12, so it is a 10. So let's just let me undo this one first. Been a while since I've been here. So this is a 12 millimeter one. So this not yet, you can see here. It's a 12 millimeter one, and now you have to go up to a 12. Oh, sorry. You have to go to an 11 to get this portion here. So let's just... So now I have the part out. Now we can take a look inside and make sure that everything looks, you know, okay and decent. So all things considered, I haven't been here in a while. Like I haven't been here in a while for real. I think it's, you know, pretty decent. So I guess that's a testament of like what happens when you keep your bike chain, you know, maintained and clean and lubed or whatever. So I like to, you know, lube it pretty decent, but I don't put enough. I mean, a lot, just so it's like springing, or at least I make sure that when I put my lube on the chain, it's dry before I go out. So at least it's just like springing, you know, all over the bike. So pretty good. So I'm just gonna clean it up just a tiny bit. Just make sure. I wanted to take a look at the teeth on the sprocket to make sure that I have that they look decent and they are not deformed. So I'm just looking, see, yeah, this doesn't look bad. It looks pretty good. And then I just wanted to take a look at this and make sure that, you know, it has a tension and it hasn't, you know, come out or gotten loose. So yeah, it's good. I like it. Pretty good. All right, so now I'm just gonna be using spraying. I have a bucket at the bottom to grab the excess, and I'm just gonna spray just a tiny bit. Oh, I can never remember here because I have to clean it up. And no worries, I'm not cleaning this with this. I just have a bunch of like kerosene in here. But anyway, so I have the part. So this is the part outside. You see, you know, in pretty decent shape. I just need to clean it up on the inside. I almost dropped it and it's not gonna be in the same. I just have to clean it up. This is where the shaft makes contact inside, and I just have to clean it up. So this is what I'm thinking. I do not want to affect anything in terms of like being able, anything structural. So to me, this is structural, like keeping this in place where I can just do use this as leverage when I'm operating the clutch. This is where the clutch goes, so I can't get rid of this, nor anything. But I feel like this area right here, it's an area where I can cut an opening, and I can just make it in a way where I can just open in here, make a decent cut, and then clean it up. I have enough to clean it up, and then maybe start small and maybe presenting it on the bike to see how it looks and see how much I can get from the outside. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And then if I mess up the paint, I can always just get some, you know, satin, like black paint, and then I can just do that. And that way I can, you know, it's gonna look like factory. It's not gonna look like all dingy or you know, as a used part that no longer, you know, it's in a good place. All right, so part is fairly clean. Anyway, it's gonna get dirty because I'm gonna be cutting in metal, whatever. So this is what I'm thinking. If you see the shape of this, of course, this is raised area, which is, you know, comprises of this area right here. This is where the sprocket is gonna be. So I can even like use these lines in here to guide me to do my cuts. I can also just come in the backside and then just make a couple cuts in here. But I think I like, I don't know, maybe I'll draw something in here just so I have something to, some sort of like shape in the part, just so I can use it as a guide for when I'm making my cut. So I'm still debating if I'm gonna do maybe a hole and then a dibbler, but I think this is too hard to do a dibbler. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do just my normal cutting artifacts, which is just doing a grinder or maybe my Dremel with a, you know, decent cutoff wheel, or just my grinder with a cutoff wheel, and then we can just shape it up and make it, you know, smooth once we get to the pretty close to the shape we're in. Okay, cool. So I'm hoping this is not gonna take away from the rigidity of the part, and this is just gonna be just, you know, allowing me to cut this in here. I don't think this is gonna flex just because this is not in here, but hey, you never know what's gonna happen. So I'm just gonna cut it. If this doesn't work, like I mentioned before, I can always get another one. So let's just give it a try and see if I can help other people to get motivated to do these type of things. And if you get motivated, then just enjoy it. All right, this is the final placement. So this will give me a very good idea of how much more I want to cut, just so I can see a little bit more. Because as you can tell, the area we don't want to cut, if I can take a peek inside, this is the area I want to keep, which is where that shaft is going in, and that shaft is going right in here. There's a kind of like a bearing or something right in here. So this feels structural to me, so I don't want to cut like way too on the inside, but I can easily just at least just do, I don't know, maybe not half an inch, but maybe quarter of an inch this way, and I can kind of go all the way. Maybe this is the farthest I go at the bottom, but I can still eat a little bit more all the way through here, and just keeping the original shape, but I guess just making this wider. I can even just get super close to here. I have a lot of, like, this is the shaft, so this is how much I have to go inside. So maybe 2 inches like inside before I get to the shaft. So it should be fine. So this is sneak peek. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start eating some of this material and see how it goes. All right, so this is latest, not necessarily greatest. So this is just fresh from the oven. Let me just, as usual, let me just get this out of the way. But I think now you can see how much more I actually ended up eating from like material that I ended up eating. It's probably still hot, but this will give you a good idea. It's hard to align. Give me 1 second. All right. So I think it's pretty close to where it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go a little bit more on the inside, but it's fine. It's not gonna be a whole lot. So this will give you an idea. I have to do a lot of like fine cutting in here now, just to make sure that the edges are clean. I can't believe how much work am I doing just for this, but it's gratifying, and I have a couple ideas in my head that I want to see coming through. So of course I have to paint it. I got a couple like places where the grinder just like ran out of my hand, and just like ended up biting into the material. So I'm just gonna be smoothing all that out and making sure that this cut, follows the contour of the shape of the part. And yeah, I'm just gonna paint it. Make sure that it looks good. There's something super special about seeing the mechanism actually moving in place. And I mean, if you can see like Hayabusas, or maybe even Ducatis, like Panigales, in all those motorcycles, they have a bunch of like clutch covers where you can see through, and you can see the oils squirting into the same valve, cover, whatever. So that it's super special. I love it. I hope you guys get excited. Think about how many horsepower I'm gonna get. Woo, it'll be amazing. All right, so this is looking better. Of course, it's gonna look way better when it's painted, but now the surface is smooth, and I came all the way through here because I wanted to fix a few issues, areas where the grinder took a mind of its own and just ran out of me. So final placement, kind of, yeah, might go a little bit more. So this will give you pretty good idea. So let me just step back a little bit, and you can see, it looks kind of cool. I like it. All right, coat number 2. All right, so This is 3 coats of that engine enamel that I use. So I think it came out super nice. Like if I look to the bike doesn't have any, I don't think it has any like glossy like finish on any of the parts, but it doesn't matter. One, part standing out of the other. But all right, so by now you probably know that I'm a racer. I'm just kidding, but yep. You probably saw that I installed a light on my new modification on my sprocket cover, custom, I guess, sprocket cover that I just did. So what I'm doing right now is just I'm going to, in a, I guess, more permanent way, I'm just going to install or get power for the LED that is going to get mounted on the sprocket cover. So I'm just gonna use this, which is a super easy way to create a new circuit. Okay, so now I have my red wire, which is the power, and in case you haven't seen this before, then this is the one you're gonna use for whatever cable you are going to be tapping into, which in my case I'm just gonna be using the tail light. So I'm just gonna tap the tail light with this, and this will give me power when I have the key on. That way I don't have to worry about having any circuit added to the bike. I'm going to be tapping the tail light. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna use this end, which is here. See if I can get it to focus. And this one going to the cable, and once I got the cable, then I'm just gonna take this one and I'm just gonna screw it. I can check if I have power by using my trusty meter. So I'm just gonna put the key on, and if this light goes on, I have power. Perfect. So now I'm just gonna keep it like that, and I'm just gonna turn the ignition off, and it goes off. So perfect. That's the type of power I was looking for. Oops. All right, I promise to come back and add proper heat shrink, get rid of those cables, and maybe even get a different LED at some point. All right, so now I have the negative. Now I have a proper terminal. I think I'm just gonna put a label like I did with my nitrous that says this is negative. Don't be an idiot. I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna put it in angle just so I can make sure it's not gonna be like super bulky and it's gonna be only in one area. So I'm just gonna continue, I guess, like this moving forward. Oh. Connection is working. So now I just need to take that terminal on the cable, put this on, and route this to its final location, which you probably have already saw after watching that video. All right, so this is the final part. This is how it came out. Looks pretty sweet, in my opinion. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start putting this together. So what I wanted to do is this one, do it like this, but it's easier like this instead of just waiting for, I can still, let me Okay, let's align the dot with the line in here. Perfect. All right, that looks good. To position this where it goes, which is to the back. So let me get it aligned with the shaft in here. Oops. Oh, wait. Okay. Okay, I think I'm almost good there. So now, okay, I don't want to damage it. Okay. Second longest. Good. And then these two are the same. So those are the four, but I'll double check in 1 second. All right, so I'm now taking the tape off, the backing, or what you want to call it, tape. All right, so right here, what I'm trying to do is to push in the the LED, and the intention is to push it in to reach an opening in the sprocket cover where I can actually get direct light hitting the actual chain and the sprocket, which is the whole purpose of having this LED here, which is not reflecting outside of the engine, but more inside of the sprocket cover. So that's one of the intentions. And then secondly, I have 3M tape, in case you're wondering. So the tape is actually taped against the frame. So I'm expecting this is not gonna come off, and I'm not gonna have, you know, the LED just flying off or just, you know, interfering in any way with the chain. I'm gonna be honest. I've never been the guy who wants to have any lights on its bike, but I don't hate it. It honestly doesn't look bad, and it looks curious, and I think it's a subtle touch. It's not like I'm like lighting up like the entire bike underneath it, which, I mean, if you like that style, nothing against that. Same thing with, you know, me, I do stuff that people don't like necessarily, but I feel like I like it. That's awesome. So maybe we just take a closer look. And this is how it looks when you're running. That's kind of cool. I like it. And I mean, it's red, which is, you know, same color of the bike, which is, I love it. All right, so I think I showed a sneak peek last night when I was, finally finalizing the video. But now you can see the end result, which is what I pretty much looks the same. But I took the bike out for test today, and everything worked as intended. So you can tell. I mean, it looks pretty decent to me. I like it, and now I'm just gonna turn on the key pretty quick. And you can see on the inside, so pretty similar to what you guys saw last night. So now I just turn off the key and it goes away. So that's just to tell you, I mean, not everything has to be performance modifications. So there's time for us to spend time on things that makes our bikes to feel special to us. And this is something that I never thought about doing. I thought about doing this whole cutout, but I never thought about just adding any lights or anything. So I guess the only thing I can assure you is that the structure left, it's enough to provide a good operation for the clutch. So if you want to go for this modification, go ahead and do it. It's awesome. I like it a lot. And if you need any ideas or anything that you want to do, or maybe if you do it and you do it in a different way, just please show it to me to see if I can learn something from you. Or if you're gonna do it and you don't know where to start, just hit me up and I'll be super happy to help you. So thank you for watching, and leave any comments or any questions if you have any. Bye bye.